feel fine.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Rocket Tranquility, we copy you on the ground.
New possibilities are opening up for scientific cooperation between countries.
1-0. Liftoff. Americans return to space as Discovery clears the tower.
Discovery, going throttle up.
Discovery, roger. Go for deploy.
Everybody in the shuttle program, the crew is go for launch.
Roger. Nice to be in orbit.
We have followed in their footsteps to get us where we are today.
You're looking live at the Crew Dragon spacecraft and Falcon 9 rocket set to launch 4 astronauts to the International Space Station in just a few hours. Today, a crew of 2 Americans, 1 European, and 1 Japanese astronaut will set off on a 6-month science mission to the world's only orbiting laboratory. Welcome to NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. I'm Marie Lewis with NASA Communications.
And I'm Kate Tice, Senior Certification Engineer at SpaceX. Joining us today is NASA astronaut Tracy Caldwell Dyson. Welcome, Tracy.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Marie. It's sure a pleasure to be here. You know, it's a busy month for human spaceflight with traffic to and from the International Space Station, and today's launch of Crew 2 is a very exciting part of that.
And we have teams all around the country covering the action from SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California, NASA's Mission Control Center in Houston, and of course, right here in Florida. We'll also be answering your questions throughout the countdown, so you can send us yours by using the hashtag #LaunchAmerica on social media.
There are a series of key milestones to be checked off as we count down to T0. The first one is Suit Up. The Suit Up room is located in NASA's Neil Armstrong Operations and Checkout Building, or the ONC. Here, the SpaceX team will help the astronauts put on their suits and perform some key suit checkouts to ensure suit integrity. After Suit Up, we'll see the crew walk out. The astronauts will leave the ONC building for final goodbyes with coworkers, friends, and family gathered outside before they head to the launch pad.
Following goodbyes, the crew will get in their Teslas and begin the roughly 15-minute drive to pad 39A. Once there, the 4 astronauts will ascend to the 255-foot level of the fixed service structure. That's the structure you see to the right of the rocket. Then they take the last 10 feet to the crew access arm and white room. The white room is their last stop before boarding their spacecraft, a process known as crew ingress. During ingress, the SpaceX team will run a series of checks to ensure the suits, seats, and vehicle interfaces are all functioning properly.
After all the vehicle and crew checkouts are complete, the SpaceX closeout team will close the Crew Dragon's side hatch with the crew safely inside. At T-minus 40 minutes, the crew access arm, which is the long suspended walkway the astronauts use to board Dragon, will retract, followed by the arming of the launch escape system.
And once the arm is retracted and the escape system armed, propellant loading on Falcon 9 will begin. At T-minus 5 minutes, Dragon will be configured for what is called terminal count. This is when Dragon's onboard computers take control of the spacecraft.
And finally, at T0, Crew Dragon and Falcon 9 will lift off from pad 39A. Roughly 12 minutes after liftoff, Crew Dragon will separate from Falcon 9's second stage, enter its preliminary orbit and activation phase, and begin using its own onboard propulsion system to carry the crew to their destination, the International Space Station.
This is the second rotational crew to fly on a commercial spacecraft, and they bring a diverse set of experiences to today's flight. Crew Dragon Commander Shane Kimbrough, sitting there, will be making his 3rd trip to space. He was born in Killeen, Texas, and raised in Atlanta. He was selected as an astronaut in 2004. Kimbrough is a retired U.S. Army colonel and holds degrees in aerospace engineering and operations research. He first launched aboard the Space Shuttle Endeavour on STS-126.
Pilot Megan MacArthur will be making her 2nd trip to space, but her first one to the space station. She was born in Honolulu, but considers California her home state. NASA selected MacArthur as an astronaut in 2000. She holds degrees in aerospace engineering and oceanography. MacArthur served as mission specialist aboard Space Shuttle Atlantis on STS-125, the final servicing mission of the Hubble Space Telescope in 2009.
Mission specialist Aki Hoshide is suiting up for his third space flight today. Born in Tokyo, Hoshide was selected as an astronaut in 1999 by the National Space Development Agency of Japan, known today as JAXA. Hoshide earned degrees in aerospace engineering and mechanical engineering. He flew on STS-124 aboard the Space Shuttle Discovery to deliver and install Japan's science laboratory Kibo. He also flew aboard the Russian Soyuz on Expedition 32 and 33 for a 124-day visit to the space station.
And mission specialist Thomas Pesquet will be making his second trip to space. Born in Rouen, France, Pesquet was selected by ESA as an astronaut in 2009. He has a degree in spacecraft design and control and more than 2,300 hours as a commercial airline pilot. Pesquet first flew to space on the Russian Soyuz as a flight engineer for Expeditions 50 and 51. In that time, he worked on more than 50 different experiments and performed 2 spacewalks to maintain the space station with Kimbrough. He has logged 197 days in space. And here they come, the Crew 2 astronauts taking their first steps outside before their journey to space.
Have the opportunity to wave goodbye from a safe distance. The distance is normal protocol for spaceflight. This is not a result of the COVID-19.
And we see those Tesla doors starting to close now.
ONC departure on schedule.
Right, so we just heard that announcement that the crew has departed the operations and checkout building on schedule. They are now on their way to Launch Complex 39A, scheduled to lift off at 5:49 a.m. Eastern Time. And as they are approaching the base of the pad, we have some more messages from those with some personal connections to this crew. Commander Shane Kimbrough, here he is climbing inside Crew Dragon Endeavour. We call this process ingress.
Dragon, SpaceX, go for launch.
Copy, go for launch.
T-minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Mission and liftoff. Godspeed, Endeavour and Crew 2.
Copy, 1 Alpha.
Endeavour launches once again. 4 astronauts from 3 countries on Crew 2, now making their way to the one and only International Space Station. The vehicle is pitching downrange. 9 Merlin engines on the first stage providing 1.7 million pounds of thrust. Hearing good calls on first stage performance so far.
Max Q.
There's our call out that we have just passed through Max Q.
Stage 1, throttle up.
And
1
we can
Bravo.
Copy, 1 Bravo.
All right, 1 Bravo is the second abort mode on the first stage. The first stage continues to fire for 2 minutes, 35 seconds. 1.5 minutes into today's flight.
Two
Nico.
Alpha.
Copy, 2 Alpha.
Confirmed.
Acquisition signal lost. And ignition.
And we have ignition of the second stage. You see the green flash of that T-TEB fluid. The expansion nozzle on the second stage Merlin vacuum glowing that bright red that we like to see. Good performance on the second stage so far.
Stage 2 FTS is safed.
We've got the center engine ignition, and there come the 2 side engines. Now this entry burn will last about 29 seconds. It's going to significantly slow down the vehicle in preparation for hitting the denser part of the Earth's atmosphere. Entry burn complete. We're down below 35 kilometers, continuing to look good on the first stage, heading to the Atlantic Ocean for a landing on the drone ship.
Dragon SpaceX launch escape system disarmed.
Launch escape system disarmed. Copy.
Dragon SpaceX nominal orbit insertion.
Copy. Nominal orbital insertion.
All right, the Falcon 9 second stage has done its job, delivering our 4 crew into orbit.
You hear the applause here in Hawthorne. We're waiting to get a video signal back from the drone ship. Of course, I still love you. And the view from the onboard camera, we saw it just briefly. It looks like first stage on the drone ship. Getting views of the Dragon trunk. So the first stage is on the drone ship, successfully landed. And more importantly, second stage is in a nominal orbit with the Dragon spacecraft getting ready for some important events coming up, Gary.
That's right. About 2 more minutes. The Dragon and the second stage of the Falcon 9 will be in a coast phase.
Dragon separation control.
Absolutely stunning views from both inside the cabin, seeing the excitement of our 4-person crew inside Endeavour, and watching Endeavour drift away from the camera on the second stage as the Earth passes by on an orbital sunrise. Very good. Well, from here in Hawthorne, it was very exciting to see the Falcon 9 lift off and deliver our 4-person crew into orbit. We're going to be with you throughout the entire phase, the rendezvous phase, until Dragon and this 4-person crew docks with the International Space Station. That'll be over the next 23 hours. We'll bring you through some of those major burns that are happening. But I am so jealous of Marie and the group over there over at the Kennedy Space Center. You actually got to see the launch and probably feel it as well. Marie, what was that like?
Oh, it was just spectacular. And, you know, the sun hasn't come up yet here in Florida, but, you know, we were able to just turn around and see the launch right behind us, and it lit up the sky, just absolutely breathtaking. Huge thanks to all of our guests for joining us today, and thank all of you for getting up early on the East Coast and watching. Now here are highlights from the journey to orbit off the Earth for the Earth.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition and liftoff. Godspeed, Endeavour and Crew 2.
Copy, 1 Alpha.
Endeavour launches once again. 4 astronauts from 3 countries on Crew 2, now making their way to the one and only International Space Station. The vehicle is pitching down range. 9 Merlin engines on the first stage providing 1.7 million pounds of thrust. Hearing good calls on the first stage performance so far.